thank you very much for joining us today. There we go to the presentation about MPS. Now, we are a company that has been working on the area of sustainability certification for 26 years now. We started as a small company, a project in the Netherlands, and nowadays we have grown to the largest certificate in relation to sustainability worldwide. Now, today I will explain some of the basic information about our company, our goals, how we can cooperate in the supply chain, and also the different certificates that we have. Now, as we of course have a common goal together with the horticultural industry, that is also when we started. We believe in that we can make small steps with big groups of growers together in the industry, and in that way make an important contribution to the global sustainability goals. That is also very important. Now, furthermore, we have different types of certificates. They are focused on environment, but also on best practices and also on social. So that's where you see the people, planet, planet being nature and environment, and also the profit part. Now, we work throughout the whole supply chain, and more you see that data-driven decision making is becoming more and more important. Now, through the different certificates that we have, with being MPS-ABC, the main certificate, and we work together with growers to also measure what efforts are you doing on sustainability and how does that translate in a better company profile and strategy. Now, our mission, we innovate. We have a big department, technical department, global standards department, that's their name. They work on a lot of innovations. Now, for example, we are looking at themes like water, carbon footprint. We are also working more towards data visualization. So those are some of the projects that we are working on together with our technical department. Now, very closely linked to horticulture, in our board and in our technical board, there are growers, representatives from growers associations. Now, and from there on, through that mission of helping the total supply chain, we are also actively contributing to the sustainable development goals. Now, you can see an example here on the next slide. So here, for example, you see through our social certificate, we look, for example, at gender equality. We look, for example, at the reduction of differences between women and men. We also, through different other certificates, the ABC, for example, you look at the impact on life below water, life on land. So here you can see that where the MPS logo is displayed, we actively contribute to those goals. Now, where are we located? We started in the Netherlands, being the first country. Now, from there on, we expanded into Europe, expanded into Africa, expanded, of course, into Asia, and we have a long-standing relationship with our partner, MPS Japan. Currently, we are active in over 52 countries, and we have over 3,500 growers worldwide who work with MPS-ABC, with over 5,000 production locations worldwide. Now, as I said, we are long-standing partners. MPS Japan and MPS ACOS Japan, they are responsible for all the activities of MPS in Japan, and they are the direct partner for implementation of MPS-ABC, and for also helping with the different other certificates, the GPA, Tracer, GTP. So there are different certificates for different parts of the supply chain. And we, of course, are supporting from the headquarters with knowledge and information. Now, if we look at the different pillars that we have within the company, you can look at management and development. Now, I already explained a little bit. I mentioned the technical department. We also have the commerce and support. Now, I myself am one of the area managers within MPS, have been working within the company for over 10 years, and currently am the responsible area manager for North and South America, Africa, and Asia. So that is quite a big area. And also we have audit and quality. So from there on, the audit company, they are part of the holding. They are a total separate company, but they are our preferred supplier at the moment to perform audits. Now, in Japan, we have MPS Japan, who is also doing the audits for the different certificates. The most important products that we have, and I will focus on the most important one is MPS-ABC, which is our grower certificates, of course. Then we have MPS-GAP, GAP being good agricultural practices, and we have MPS-SQ, socially qualified and ethical certificate. Now, the last one is called MPS Product Proof. That is an add-on for MPS-ABC. What does it mean? Through product proof, where you have to register your usage of chemicals and fertilizers on a daily basis, application basis. You can declare, for example, if you grow poinsettias or summer flowers or anthuriums, you can declare that, for example, by testing that certain active ingredients are not found on those products. And for some retailers, that is very important. So we have that add-on, which is called product proof. Now, ABC, our main certificate, it is really a data-driven certificate. We work with growers. They send us the information in relation to use of crop protection agents, fertilizers, energy, water, recycling, and from there on, we report back to the growers on what is your level of sustainability. Here it shows there it is a registration. You can do it either accumulated once every 4 weeks, or you can register it daily on application level. We have an online system where we train the growers. They register the information. Now, in order, if you look at MPS-ABC, it's a very interesting system. We do always need a 1 year history. So when a grower starts, for example, the 1st of January 2022, then until January 2023, the grower qualifies to get the audit. The information is always verified, is audited. Now that is then being done by MPS Japan. And from there on, once you are qualified, then you get 4 times a year a qualification report through the different levels being A, B, or C. Now, it is always based on the type of production and the size of the grower. So we compare, as we say, apples with apples and not with different growers, because it doesn't make sense to compare an orchid grower, for example, with a cactus grower or succulent grower. There are 2 different, total different things. Now, from there on, always the same growers are compared with similar types of growers worldwide. So there's a local standard, but also connected to a global standard. So that is the benefit also. You get information from various parts of the world. You also, within the supply chain, I mentioned it is very important to cooperate together. So from there on, it goes from breeder to retailer. And in between, if you are there as a grower, a trader, an auction, especially for the growers, it is important that when the start of the supply chain is certified, they benefit. So the breeders, they benefit and they can get bonus points when registering the information correctly. Now, we have different colors for the crop protection agents. We have a so-called blacklist. There are active ingredients which you cannot use as a company. Now, then I talk about very dangerous chemicals, endosulfan, methyl bromide. So those are things which you cannot use as a grower. And from there on, there is 4 additional colors. Now, white are biologicals, biological enemies, biological products. And then green, orange, red. So it's just like a traffic light model. Green is less dangerous for the environment than orange, than red. Now, all the active ingredients that are being used by growers go through a system which is called MPS Mind. And based on the impact on water life, on mammals, how quickly does it break down, they get a color code. And also those color codes are regularly revised. So if they are still up to date, We always look at independent information. So we do not look at the manufacturers of the crop protection agents. It's based on independent information. And from there on, the colors are awarded. Now, if we then look at the interesting part of MPS-ABC, we have the feedback which the growers get on an individual level, but especially for traders, auctions, there is interesting information where also we can look at totals which are being used by a group of growers, and from there on see, okay, how have growers been doing? Now, so what you see over here, this is a little bit older overview, but I just wanted to show it as a reference. So here you see a 5-year overview based on 1,700 growers. It can be also 30 or 50, depending on how many growers, for example, are supplying a company. And from there on, we can see if you set 2013 in this case as a baseline, you can see that in the years, the total use of crop protection agents has gone down significantly. The gray is the total. Now you see that also going down, and you see the green in principle, it went up and then it went down a little bit. Now, if growers stop using more of the dangerous chemicals, the red and the orange, from there on you will see, of course, that green automatically will go up. So in principle, that is a good direction. And you see the totals of orange and red are going down over the years. So that is also the interesting total accumulation of data that we can do, anonymous data, and from there on present that. You can do that on a company level. You can even do it on a country level. Now, and here then, of course, it shows, and that's what we also show on the right side, that growers who perform an IPM approach, the integrated approach of doing chemicals, but also scouting, using biologicals, you can see that in this specific example, there was a huge reduction in the use of crop protection agents, which of course is a complement for all involved growers. Then we go to the second certificate, and I always try to explain it. It's just like you're building a house. First level is MPS-ABC, second level is MPS-GAP, and then you get third level, which is MPS socially qualified. Now, GAP focuses more on things like traceability, for example, sampling of areas where you have production if it's outdoor. It focuses on the substrate, use of personal protection, for example, by people who spray. It also focuses on the storage area for chemicals and fertilizers. So it is really more focused on the production itself. The interesting thing about GAP is also that when you do the audit, part of it is that growers also have to do an internal audit themselves, but the auditor will also perform several interviews with people to verify, hey, what is your task, what are you doing, and for example, are you taking all measures to work as safe as possible? And so here it explains a little bit more. We also look at different plans that growers have to make. So for example, an energy management plan, a water management plan, and from there on also things like a recall procedure are in there. So if you spray something wrong, but the product is already at the auction, a recall procedure has to be in place in order to get the product back. Then the third floor is socially qualified, and that really focuses on good working conditions and social aspects. An example for socially qualified, for example, people get a decent human living wage. For example, they get holidays. There's no slavery, no child labor. It's all based on the ILO, the ICC2 code. So that has translated in approximately 200 requirements in relation to MPS-SQ. In here, I show the three different, and the product proof is also enclosed. You see the different certificates that we offer, where does it focus on, and what, for example, is the audit frequency. So this gives an overview of those different certificates. Now, then, if you look all together, summarizing what we talked about, we have been active now for 26 years in relation to working with growers worldwide on sustainability. Now, we are the largest certificate in the floriculture. We are also part of FSI and the FSI basket, and I will explain a little bit about that in the next sheet. MPS GAP is officially benchmarked with Global GAP, so also recognized worldwide. So all the growers will get a GGN number and will be also displayed in the Global GAP database. Now, as I said already, FSI will go. I will go into that in a little bit. If you look at MPS-ABC, what is the value for growers and for companies? Now, there's an internal value. And you get the management information. It is a benchmark, so that is really interesting. And we have a lot of examples worldwide where growers have been able to reduce their usage and save money. So there's also the return on investment. There's also the external value. It helps as a grower, but also as if they are a supplier from you, to show that you are taking sustainability serious. And it also helps, of course, to communicate to any retailers or consumers, okay, we are selling products that have been sustainably grown. Now, also, we have what we call the trade portal and also a site. It is called Follow Your Flower or Plant. So all the growers are in there, and through the unique number that a grower gets, he can also follow, okay, what is my qualification? And for example, you can also put some more information in there. Now, and from there on, and you see the last one, the external value nowadays is becoming more and more important. And you see developments worldwide. For example, last week, we also attended a sustainability summit from Walmart. Now, they are really focused on not only sustainability anymore, but they are now already talking about regeneration. So they are really talking about adding value instead of only taking materials from the earth and nature. So you see that big retailers worldwide, and that also then translates to the level of growers, and also, for example, the auctions. For example, Royal Flora Holland, they are also a member of FSI. You see that the acceleration to implement requirements on sustainability every time is becoming more and more. Now, FSI, quickly touching base on that, it is an initiative which is focused on a non-competition value, which is sustainability. It is a non-competitive element. So everyone, of course, appreciates sustainability. So traders and growers work together. Now, they started with a very small group about 12 years ago. Nowadays, and as you can see on the next slide, there are a lot of international organizations which are part of FSI. The goal of FSI is not to be a certificate. They are like an umbrella which is above the market, which helps organizations worldwide and also certificates worldwide to be benchmarked, because they benchmark the different certificates. They have different baskets, as we say, and those baskets then show traders and organizations worldwide, okay, if I want to buy, for example, ethical, if I want to buy GAP, or if I want to buy environmentally friendly, the different certificates are weighed in the different baskets. Now, and you see, for example, who is a member. Now, we are a member, of course, but also, for example, Global GAP is a member, Fair Trade is a member, Rainforest Alliance. So there are multiple certificates. Now, MPS is one of the few ones which has a certificate in each of the three baskets. So we are well covered, and that also shows the added value that we can give to growers worldwide. And here you can see that when they started, first they had the ambition for 2020, where everyone has to go towards this goal, and 90% sustainably produced and traded. Now they extended that to 2025. And now you see that it is not only anymore about just responsible buying, it is also about responsible conduct. and through that also, of course, reporting and due diligence. And that is, of course, very interesting, because then also, if you look at a higher level, if you look at a trader or an auction, you can start looking, okay, what percent that we buy or that we trade, for example, is sustainably grown. So it is also an instrument to help. Now, this is what in principle I wanted to explain what we do about MPS. There are also some other quite interesting and exciting developments at MPS. One of them is that we are working on a revision of the reports that go back to the growers. There is a big project going on now, which should be done in the beginning of 2022. And finally, we are also working on a carbon footprint module together with our partner in that is called Let's Grow. Hopefully that will be done in the second part of 2022. We are doing a big pilot now in the Netherlands now, and the carbon footprint or the LCA, the life cycle analysis, is something that you see coming worldwide. There's a lot of attention for it, so we want to help growers also be able to explain to their customers, hey, this is the carbon footprint of our production that we are selling to you.